Well, holy shit, it works. How you doing, Nick?
I drank all my water during the setup.
Now
I
I'm
have nothing to
thirsty.
drink.
Yeah, my apologies about that. I have no idea, what...
Well, like I said, your controller only stopped working, and I watched this 3 times. It stopped working on the 3 occasions I put your stream into full screen.
It's like it doesn't like being watched.
It
I
could
don't know.
be a complete coincidence, but that is a weird cause and effect.
That is a weird coincidence. You're absolutely right. This is Final Fantasy, and we're in episode 2. Obviously, I did a little off-camera grinding, and we're ready to take on the Marsh Cave, which was an extremely unpleasant part of the NES original, but has been nerfed significantly for subsequent re-releases.
Can I just say that you sold me on watching more of this game last time we started playing it. I kind of forgot how much of an adventure this game was.
It is. You know, more so than other entries in the series. I think this one holds up probably the best as, if nothing else, just a kind of pocket adventure that you can play for a couple hours and still have fun with.
Okay, here's the question. Does this feel like a Final Fantasy? Or does this just feel like, I don't know, a generic fantasy RPG?
To me, it still feels like Final Fantasy because, so I played Final Fantasy 4 or 2 back in the day on the SNES, and then I enjoyed that so much that I started seeking out other Final Fantasies. So this actually was the second one I played. So to me, yeah, it still feels, it still very much tickles the Final Fantasy bone. Glad I bought all those antidotes.
This, I don't know, it's better than I remember. You showed me that last week.
A large part of it, too, is the Pixel Master, for all of its faults, like you mentioned, with not having any of the bonus content, it does go a long way towards kind of recapturing some of the magic of the original. Who knew that a slight graphical downgrade and a moderate boost in difficulty was all that the series needed?
We'll get to that in a sec. I don't know, it kind of feels like, this definitely feels like the most, I don't know, I don't want to say Tolkien-esque game in the series, but
Sure.
It definitely feels like it was just grabbing fantasy elements and just shoving them together.
It really did, and like I said last time, it has a lot more of those D&D roots than other entries in the series, online games aside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when was the last time you saw an elf in this series besides the online games?
Yeah, exactly. So Nick, it's been 2 weeks now. How you doing?
Oh, you know, they just get worse and worse, but you know what? Now I'm like, okay, my goal for the week is to survive the week. And now I feel like I accomplished something.
It's almost like society at large is failing to rise to the occasion of this pandemic, and we're just spiraling downward every week.
Chris, it's fine. We're just going to normalize dying from COVID, just like we normalize dying from gun violence and poverty.
Yeah, right. Well, nothing we can do about this. Just part of life now.
I was going to make a comment about how I guess the country's like prize sequoia trees are burning in the wildfires.
They're pretty much done, aren't they?
Did you know that actually over in Siberia, there's a wildfire raging more than all the current wildfires in the world put together?
Really?
Yeah. Apparently this just happens in Siberia and Russia, but there's so much empty tracts of land out there, they're just like, let it burn, it's fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
There's nothing immediately in the way.
It'll pattern itself out after a while.
But yeah, just literally that's the strategy, just let it burn itself out.
Did you ever read about that city in Pennsylvania where there's like a coal mine fire that's been raging for like 20 years and it's literally like opened up a pit below the roads that looks like a portal to hell?
How can that happen with a fire underground?
I don't know, but you should look it up. It looks eerie. I wish I could remember the name of the city.
I would tab out, but I'm horrified it will do something to the stream, so I won't.
Yeah, right. Last thing we need is another Chris temper tantrum.
Oh god, I remember this.
Okay, fortunately in this one, it gives you this map, and you can see which rooms have treasure chests. So we're going all the way to the right. Yeah, but can you see
which ones need the magic key?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember what you mean about this being largely inaccessible now.
Right, but given that we have it's amazing how much difference a map can make. So we're actually going to be done with this in relatively short order.
You know, I actually didn't have that much trouble with this because this is one of those games I bought a player's guide for when I was a kid. Because I was like, I'm done with this.
So you did have the magic map.
Yeah, there was no way I was going to go through this just blind.
You know, that's the other thing about 90s Nintendo and Square games. They didn't have DLC to sucker you out of your money, so they made the games just inaccessible enough that it was really worth purchasing a strategy guide.
Mm-hmm. They didn't want you beating that game in your weekend rental.
That's right.
So I feel like we need to talk about Nintendo and their Final Fantasy games and how they keep screwing them up. But
Nintendo and their Final Fantasy.
Well, okay, it wouldn't be Nintendo at the moment. It'd be Square Enix. Let me go get some more water. Drink it all during the pre-game.
Go for it. I am poisoned. Great. That's why I went and bought all those antidotes, though. We're going to be just fine. Let's see here. Where to next? Alright.
Okay, alright. So.
Yeah.
Alright.
So
Square Enix and Nintendo need to stop fricking with these games. Now, alright, so I was just reading, how is Final Fantasy IV going for you on Steam?
I like it.
Oh, would you notice any differences in it?
Well, besides the graphics, no. I mean, the point is that it's basically just the original SNES version.
Now, maybe you can verify this for me, because I know that it popped up in my window a couple times that you're playing it.
Yeah.
Can you verify whether or not you level up quicker in that game?
I don't feel like you do, but it's also... Well, actually, the last time I played the SNES original was when you and I played it on this channel, so... No, I mean, as far as I can tell, you don't seem to level up any quicker.
What I've read, because I guess this is a big discussion on the Steam forums, was that while enemies do not give you more EXP, the amount of EXP per level you need has been halved.
Oh, really?
And that's like a constant complaint of mine about these games, is that
4
they keep tweaking them.
Yeah, 4 wasn't over hard to begin with. I mean, I remember that largely you didn't really need to level up a whole lot.
Right, well...
why did I buy anything then, game? Sorry, go on.
It's one of those things where I get frustrated, like when I try to play a classic game and in the original Greek, if you will. But, you know, like I said, Final Fantasy IV, it's easy to level up. I remember the GBA releases for 5 and 6. 5 was actually, I believe, 10% easier than the original PlayStation version. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it just really discourages me when, like, I'm playing through the game and it's like, hey, I finally beat Omega Weapon after all these years. Oh, well, that's because they made him easy.
Your accomplishments are meaningless.
Yeah, well, accomplishments were, I guess, meaningless in the first place anyways, but...
That's fair.
But yeah.
Yeah,
just, I don't know.
There wasn't a whole lot of incentive to complete those optional bosses back in the day other than, you know, guts and glory.
Well, you got those items that didn't do anything, the Omega Medal and the Shinryu badge or something.
Right. You could also grind enemies to get, like, super secret weapons that actually make them... taking them out a little easier, but again...
A little easier, but never quite easy.
It was only
you're
for
always,
those particular bosses.
You were always one rocket punch away from disaster in that Omega fight. Shinryu wasn't as big an issue, particularly if you had Dragon Lances.
Well, yeah, because there was one very specific strategy to take down Shinryu, where Omega, you just had to, you know, have the right combination of luck and skill.
Pray, luck, skill, and pray to RN Jesus.
Yep. RN Jesus. Okay, we got 2 more over here. I think you're right, I do need the magic key for some of the treasure at the bottom of this, but
yeah, I think it's in the lower right-hand corner.
Okay. Good memory. Considering I just played this game like a month ago, you would think I would... God damn these werewolves.
Oh, these... No, I thought these were the poison wargs, but...
They are. When they just renamed them werewolf. My antidote supply is going to run low.
Hey, you brought 7 into this dungeon.
you know, that's enough in this version, ideally. Don't you do
I
it.
saw the trailer for Metroid Dread.
Yes. That's probably looking like my most hyped game this year.
They sold me on the I'm always a sucker for a decent antagonist. They sold me on the evil Chozo King. I'll take that.
Yeah.
And there's an interesting twist.
I also greatly enjoy those games where, you know, there's a persistent enemy that you can't really conquer until the end of it. I enjoyed that about Metroid Fusion with the SAX.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which, as I say it, I now realize that they're basically just treading familiar ground in this game, but that's still okay.
Oh, come on. You think Nintendo would play it safe?
You know, they have no reason to, really, with Metroid. They release one game every 20 years. Yep, Mystic Key.
Wouldn't it be funny if the right-hand door was open, though?
Right? We'll never know until we get that Mystic Key. Fortunately, at that point, the Mystic Key is really where the game starts to fold in on itself and become substantially easier, because you get some pretty good gear. And then once you get the airship, it's just over. Mystic Key.
Maybe it's all of these, I'm not sure. I'm starting to realize is it the oozes or the slimes that are basically like the flans of this game?
The green slimes.
Okay, yeah, any of these are alright.
They're dead now. Oh boy. So Nick, when are you coming to Bloomington?
Well, oh gosh, I'm sorry.
Right after I get over this COVID.
I just intentionally infected myself, so I had an excuse.
Right.
Okay, have you ever heard that when you have to sneeze, you're supposed to look up at a light?
No, I did not hear that.
Have you ever heard that? A Norwegian friend of mine said that, and I was like, that makes no sense. And now, every time I need to sneeze, that's what I do. Well, I assume it's like you tip your head up so that it opens the nasal passages, but it just so happens that most all lights are going to be above your head. But
all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you reached the age where occasionally you'll sneeze wrong and your whole body hurts?
No, that's weird.
It is weird, isn't it? I hate it.
I'm also older than you, so how's that working?
I'm probably just in worse shape than you are.
Maybe.
I only bike 12 miles a day. I guess I don't eat as well as I should. Anyway. That's
You bike
my
12
life
miles?
right now.
Is that a serious thing?
What?
Do you seriously bike 12
Yes,
miles?
I do. Absolutely. I bike 12 miles a day.
Wow, that's impressive. I run maybe twice a week.
Nice.
I was going to today, but I felt like so much death on my feet that I just curled up into bed once I fed the dogs after work.
There's not a spell to get me out of here, is there? No, that's all right. I think there is. I just don't have it yet.
What is it called?
Teleport? I think it
That's
is teleport in this version.
But I thought that was 4.
Yeah, 4 has teleport as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's not too terribly
Fuck
far
it.
away.
Smoke them if you got them.
We're gonna use thunder on skeletons.
Yep.
Will that work?
Elemental damage
will
is
work
meaningless.
good enough. All right, sure.
Get the fuck out of here. Fortunately, the oozes do go down with physical hits. It's the green slimes that are the problem.
Oh, okay.
They're laying on the EXP down here.
I mean, this isn't the worst dungeon in the world.
No, like I said, it was way worse on the original NES. One, because of your hit rate, your lack of resources. It was substantially, I think, harder to level up in the NES original. Like, I think the level cap in that game was 50.
Really?
Yeah, I believe the original NES version had a level cap of 50. You can Google and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm relatively certain. In this one, you can level up past 50.
Huh, I don't know. I feel like, you know what, I've only played, I think, the actual GBA games.
Okay. So this version kind of marries the GBA with the NES a little bit. It's not quite as monotonously easy as the GBA version, but yeah, it's definitely easier than the NES.
Oh, okay.
Smoke them if you got them. They also, one thing that they did do for this version, though, which I actually appreciate, is they added ethers. So I can actually restore MP.
Oh, that's helpful.
It is. Kill them all.
Huh.
I also like the auto battle thing.
Fire was surprisingly ineffective against the skeleton.
Yeah, I think to this day elemental damage isn't quite on the money. I know in the NES version, like magic, when you get into the late game, is almost completely useless because of a glitch or an error in programming. Basically, the only reason to have a mage in the end game is so that he can buff your fighters.
That was kind of the way it was with 2, wasn't it?
No, 2 magic was either completely useless, or if you spent, 10 to 15 hours grinding nothing but magic, it could become the most broken thing in the entire game.
I think what it is just different iterations of different games. Buffing becomes more important. Like,
yeah,
Final Fantasy IV, the 3D remake, buffing was important, unlike Final Fantasy IV original.
Right. Where buffing did next to nothing, right. Well, in FF2, it was kind of weird because...
buffing was very helpful in that game, I remember.
Yes, it could very well be. The problem with FF2 really wasn't so much that the system was bad. I mean, in the original NES version, it was bad. In subsequent entries, it was just like, who has the time to grind this much for a game where you can beat the final boss in 2 hits with the blood sword?
That was not my experience fighting Emperor Matthias, but...
Did you not have the blood sword?
I might have. I can't recall, but I know that battle was a slog.
Yeah, and again, it really just depends on... So, the really weird thing about that game was actually the Ultima spell. The Ultima spell varied in power depending on what level you had all of your other magic. So if you had all of your other spells between like level 10 and 17, it like took the average and added their damage to Ultima's damage. And so, when you first get it, it does like jack shit, and you're like, wow, this isn't the ultimate spell at all. But then as you level it and everything else up, it slowly becomes unstoppable.
Yeah, that would explain why my Ultima never did much good, and I just...
didn't use it, right?
Yeah, never.
They also programmed it that way just in case, like, you gave it to Furion or someone who didn't have a high magic stat, so that it would still be good since you only get 1. Haste, that's what we need. Well, I'm never going to use either of these spells, but I have to have one of them, so let's go with sleep.
It's just money.
Yeah, it's just money. And really, from this point on, money's not going to be a thing.
I recall money never really being too much of an issue.
Only at the beginning.
I'm assuming you have a Poisona?
Yes, I already have that one. Drive... Nah, we're just going to kill him. Okay. Now, back to the False Elf King.
Null Frost. When would you need Null Frost in this game?
Really just when you fight Kraken, but really not even then.
That's what I figured, and that's a long way off.
Yes, it is. The answer is you don't. You need precisely 3 spells in this game, and we've got 2 of them.
Yeah, I think I basically just wailed on everything with swords until the game was over.
Yeah.
Like I said, this wasn't, unfortunately for me, not a childhood cherished memory.
It walks the line for me.
It was fine, but I enjoyed the post game. But
yeah, well, so for me, I actually enjoyed it way more in its later iterations than I did in the original. I mean, I did the original because it's what I had access to back in the day.
Oh shoot! Okay, speaking of Final Fantasy absurdity, what is that game? What iteration of Final Fantasy IV do you get to have Golbez on your team, and then like you fight a post-game dungeon?
The after years.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
I don't think you can really do that in any of the Final Fantasy IV original releases, but I know the after years he joins you.
It was the after years.
It's included on the PSP version.
That's where it was from. Okay, I gotcha.
And I actually played it. I enjoyed it. It wasn't, as memorable as the original, but it was still fun. Oh, Astos.
I'm hoping it would one day come out on Steam. That would be nice.
Let's see here. Well, there's literally nothing for my white mage. Wait, do I have Protect? Nope. Well, yes, I do. There we go.
Astos, I really thought this guy's name was Gingledoof.
Gingled.
I don't know why.
He looks like a Gingledoof.
I don't know why. That's my go-to like elven name for Tolkien stuff. Just Gingledoof, Schmingledoof.
I'm Gingledoof, Lord of Sploopenwood. Never mind.
Tolkien's fine. I have no problem with Tolkien. I just think it's goofy.
You're not wrong. This guy actually has a real chance of killing my black mage. Nope.
Look at that face.
He squandered it.
And he just squandered his chance. Okay, wait, why are we buffing up the... Oh, that's why.
That's why. Because the thief already hits for like 5 hits, and now he can double
I
it.
never really understood like the whole 1-hit, 8-hit thing. 1 fish, 2 fish.
Well, so speed isn't a thing in this game because you just take turns. So the speed stat is instead how many times
How many times you attack?
Yeah, so haste just increased the number of hits.
Wow.
He's already dead. Why am I buffing?
Wow.
We may have over-leveled slightly.
The thief was a little broken.
Well, and as I said, we don't need to be at level 17 right now. I'm thinking 10 to 12 is probably more appropriate for where we are, but
yeah, you're probably like Lich set at this point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we could waltz right into the Lich's castle or throne room and give him the what for. All right, we are about to get the key.
Oh, I thought you get the key from there.
No, we get the eye. We take the eye to Matoya. We take the Jolt tonic from her to the Elf Prince, and then we get the Mystic Key.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's that kind of weird Pony Express, and then we never see anything like that again the rest of the game, right?
I'm trying to think.
Like there's a lot of front end like explore the world.
Yeah, you're right.
And
there's never
quests,
really like a series of fetch quest
and then it's kill the 4 fiends.
Fetch quest. Wow. I just that can't be good, right? Not for a 34-year-old.
You should. I say that to myself at least once a day. You should probably save too at some point just in case.
Oh yeah, we haven't done much of that, have we?
Wow. When was the last time you ever needed to hard save a game?
Fetch quest. Yeah. I think I've had trouble with that phrase earlier on Play the Hits too, so I'm not super worried that it's some kind of neurological degeneration.
Sometimes there's just words that you can't say. Like for me, it is jewelry. Except I really had to think about that. I can't say that word for some reason.
Yeah, like something
just misfires.
Cinnamon. There we go.
Yeah, cinnamon's not bad. Anemone is a little difficult.
Anemone, yeah. You know what's really funny is that like there are certain like phrases and things, and I'm like completely articulate. And, you'd think I really knew what I was saying, but other times why did I do that? Whatever. Nothing can hurt me anymore.
Why do we do half the things we do?
It's all meaningless. Yeah, but then there's other words where like I'm basically infantile. As you just heard. Fetch quest. That still doesn't sound right to me though. That's just a phrase that does like I know the word fetch and I know the word quest. You put them together and they just don't sound right to me though.
Huh. You know, that shark sprite has always weirded me out.
He looks just a little too humanoid.
Yeah.
But, like, they couldn't commit to it. It's like, nah, it's just got to be a regular shark. But, you know, they kind of want to do the Street Sharks thing. Dude, you fucking remember the Street Sharks?
I do.
Those bath toys were fucking awesome.
Back in the great age of we'll make a toy series out of anything.
Also known as the great age of we need some of that Ninja Turtle money.
Yeah, right. Because someone already took our idea for biker mice from Mars.
Yeah, there were biker mice from Mars. There were Street Sharks. There were... Oh, there was another one. I'll think of it. Radical rodents. I don't know. To quote my brother Dre from earlier in the week, yeah, I remember when there was a reason to watch Saturday morning cartoons? Yeah.
It was like, Dre, that was long before your time. I don't know where your nostalgia's coming from.
Yeah, right. No, dude, I have vivid memories of waking up Saturday mornings to catch Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers. That was the shit.
Skeleton Warriors, Samurai Troopers, all that stuff they could throw at you and try and
VR Troopers.
Yeah, VR Troopers, Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Beetlejuice, Bobby's World, Doug. You ever think about Doug?
Yeah.
What do you think happened to Doug when he grew up?
He probably ended up just like working at a factory or something.
Yeah.
Just something super underwhelming for all those life experiences.
He was, you know, back in the day we were meant to sympathize with him, but he was just such a lazy piece of shit, Doug. I guarantee you were right. He went fucking nowhere. While Patty Mayonnaise went on to bone Roger. Guarantee it.
You know, she became president at some point then.
Right?
Sure.
She just left Doug far behind. Doug is animating cartoons on the back of napkins while he works third shift at a McDonald's.
She left him as the historical footnote in her life that he was. I wonder whatever happened to him. Oh, he hung himself at the age of 32 in his attic. Right. His parents' attic.
Right. Meanwhile, all his friends keep like failing upward, but Doug just can't seem to catch a break. Oh, Christ. Gosh. It's kind of funny and sad at the same time, because, you know, we all know like, those people.
It's like Bilbo at the end of Lord of the Rings just ends up opening like a general store and working at that the rest of his life. You know? Right. There's something incredibly underwhelming for having just saved the world.
Right. Doug didn't even do that, though.
No, he didn't.
Doug just, like, had daydreams and...
Just barely graduated high school.
Actually,
junior high. What am I talking about?
Yeah, junior high, right? Like that's.
Yeah.
Now I know they did like a Rugrats. Speaking of cartoons, I know they did like a grown-up Rugrats show. I don't know if it was any damn good because
it went as well as about. Well, no, I was gonna say it went as well as the humanoid My Little Ponies, but that also.
Oh, from what I understand, those are obscenely successful, and I mean obscenely.
Why did you say that like a horse?
Obscenely. Because people want to fuck the horses. I really don't know what that's about.
That is, I've always been fascinated by that series because, like, what do you do when your target audience isn't actually your target audience?
Right, yeah. No, I am well aware of, like, the brony movement, girls, but holy shit. But I'm afraid to dig into it. Like, I'm. It's one of the very few things, you know, that legitimately worries me. Like, if I even Google it to be informed, like, I'm gonna get put on some kind of government watch list.
All I know is that there's a couple decent documentaries, and that Jim Breen's, one of my favorite actors, did a role very briefly in that show.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wait, the new My Little Pony?
No, the original.
Okay, so like the 80s. I don't think the 80s one is the popular one.
No, the 80s was that really weird, like, really realistic My Little Pony.
Right, where they looked enough like horses that nobody wanted to have sex with them.
Yeah, and the villain was like this devil from hell who wanted the ponies to pull his midnight chariot through hell for all of eternity, which is like the most fucking metal thing I can think of.
Huh. That is very strangely metal. You're not wrong.
Oh, very tonally different from the current iteration. Well, you know,
Yes, I did.
I think the iteration that's out there, like that was popular with the bronies, was like actually the 5th or 3rd generation. I want to say 3rd, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. All I know is I've stumbled upon enough art to know that I want nothing to do with it. Art. Wow, that's art with a lowercase a. My apologies to artists.
Is there anything smaller than a lowercase?
Yeah, right. A superscript A.
there you go, or a subscript.
Right.
Did I ever tell you? You don't even know who I'm talking about. Never mind.
Well, tell me the story anyway, because we're about to go down to the damn Mithril Cave for the second time. Or Marsh Cave.
Marsh Cave.
Marsh Cave, not Mithril Cave. There's no mithril in there. Oh, that's right. You're gonna make me trek all the way around this damn castle, aren't you?
Well, I mean, at least there's no random encounters.
No, there's not, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because it's very clearly a haunted castle.
Not haunted enough.
Oh, here's some monsters.
Oh, alright, here we go. It's a box of monsters.
Box of monsters.
It's like one of those deep web boxes you buy, just full of monsters. Or one of those Chinese adventure boxes you can buy.
Yeah, like from like the millions of tech stores in China that are going out of business, and they just like liquidate all of their assets into mystery boxes.
Well, yeah, that and I guess like more recently they've had an issue with people unboxing dead animals.
Oh dear God!
Like there's this.
Oh look, a Corsair keyboard and a cat.
There was an issue a while back where they like went to a warehouse. Like no, there's these. They do these mystery boxes in hopes that like people will film themselves unboxing them, and like they mean to give you a live puppy, but a lot of those puppies don't survive the warehouse for 2 weeks.
Nope.
That is the most depressing thing I've heard all week.
But their hearts were in the right place.
Now I'm really sad.
Right.
You gotta change the subject, Chris.
Now things are a little different. Nick felt something change on air. Like, oh shit, I can't do this show anymore. You think I can make it with the MP I have? I can make it with the MP I have. I'm not going all the way back to town for this.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You've only gotten stronger since you've been there last.
Yeah, that's right. Though I've also gotten much less antidotes. We'll see how it goes. We'll save beforehand. If nothing else, it'll make the blooper reel. By the way, are you keeping a play that hits blooper reel?
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah,
that's what we wanted, right?
Down somewhere here. I got the Benny Hill music picked out, but...
Remember when we were driving across the state for my wedding and we came up with an entire song about Elcor soldiers to the tune of Ballad of the Green Berets?
Yes, I do remember that.
I wish I'd had the foresight to write that down, but in retrospect I was driving a car, so it really couldn't have worked out.
You know, there's nothing more tense than holding someone else's wedding cake on the way to their wedding.
Yeah, especially when, you know, they couldn't store it in the place or transport it for us, so we were forced to do that. And so, yeah, you had to keep that cake from sliding even in a millimeter, but damn it if you didn't do it.
Yeah, it worked out, thank goodness.
I don't think I've ever seen you focus so hard on a singular task.
Story of my life.
Right?
He could stop a cake from moving.
All right, Nick Weber, the man who glides ass backwards through college and then manages to meet his match with a wedding cake.
Well, in my defense, it was only Defiance College.
Yeah, right. It's not like it was real college.
I don't know. I could do worse. I had to do hiring this week for our factory, and I was looking at these resumes. I was like, these are all awful. These people want to be my secretary?
You people should be ashamed of yourselves. We didn't get poisoned.
It was one of those things where I was like, well, you know what? I didn't quite get where I wanted in life, but I did better than this.
Yeah, I was going to say, but neither did they. I think we might have a few treasure box enemies down here, which is the only reason I'm not casting fire on everything.
I feel like there's going to be some mind flayers in those boxes.
I think you're right, which is why I'm hanging on to a couple spells.
Well, you can save anywhere, can't you?
I can quick save. You are correct. In case things go wildly wrong.
Well, yeah. Okay, I think that's correct.
Or if I just get poisoned a million times. Or 0 times. That works. That's the downside to the thief. Their defense is ass. There we go.
Well, he's no paladin.
He never will
And
be.
again, your warrior's no paladin either.
Why does my white mage have so much HP? That is incredible. I mean, look at this. She is trouncing the thief. I think on purpose.
You know, it's like I said, all these games have their own iterations, and it completely throws you off as to, like, what it's actually supposed to be.
But I can just, like, picture the white mage, like, you know, while the other guys are, like, sleeping, she's, like, working out super hard just to embarrass the thief.
She's, like, 6'8".
Right? She's an Amazon, yeah.
What's going on here?
There they are. I mean,
No,
I guess I
those
could
are
have
more
walked
Pisco
around
demons.
them, but
I think the mind flayers are in the lower right-hand corner.
these are the mind flayers. They're just
No, these are
renamed Pisco demons.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty sure. You might be right. There might be a harder version of them called mind flayers.
I think I'm right, but we will see.
Either way, I'm gonna kill them.
Now, these creatures are straight out of D&D, aren't they?
Yep, absolutely they are.
I think the only thing this game was missing was, like, a beholder.
A beholder. Oh wait.
Wow.
Oh nope, just a box of snakes. Come on,
A
Nick.
box
Never,
of anacondas, no less.
never shit a shitter. Oh,
Caution, contents under pressure.
maybe I really should have restored some MP. Oh well.
Well, after they poison you because, you know, they're constrictors, they're not venomous.
Venomous or poisonous? Wait, hold on. Poisonous if you bite it, you get sick. Venomous if it bites you, you get sick, right?
I have never heard that in my life, and I find that interesting.
But I'm right, right?
I don't...
What did I just get out of that chest?
know.
Silver. There we go.
I've never heard that, and it doesn't sound right to me.
Yeah, no. Poisonous, you eat it, you die. Venomous, it eats you, you die. Well, I mean, you know what I mean.
Why does everybody say X-Spider is poisonous? No one ever says that a brown recluse is venomous.
Huh?
I
don't know.
think
Look
it has
it
to
up.
do
Prove
with
me wrong.
I think it has to do with the type of poison. No, we already talked about me not wanting to click out of the stream.
Yeah, you don't want to anger it.
I don't want to anger the stream gods. I want to look that up, though. That's interesting.
Yeah. The one time Nick actually needs a smartphone, and he doesn't have a smartphone.
Well, I'm getting ready to buy the new
Or
phone.
an iPad.
I got a 15% raise this week, so I got to start replacing crap
Yeah, don't you love that?
like the phone.
All right, if we
Then my
encounter...
check engine light came in.
Oh, I hate when that happens. If we encounter one more box of Pisco demons, I'm officially out of good spells to use on them.
Oh no!
I will actually have to try.
And then the thief will just have to carry the team, I guess.
You know,
Unless you got some
he's
ethers.
doing more damage than my warrior right now because of how many times he's freaking hitting. This is incredible.
Yeah, be sure you're equipping that stuff that you're getting.
Oh, good.
an
I got
antidote.
an antidote. That was awesome. Thank you, game. Heal up here. Alright, should just be one more door. Fuck.
Oh, well, you can run.
It's actually flee. Come on now. I think the thief greatly increases your chances of getting away. There he goes. Only after my fighter was poisoned. Did you ever play the Game Boy Advance Final Fantasy Tactics?
No, I did not, but I had a friend who did.
So it was a decent game, mostly unremarkable, but it was cool to have, you know, Final Fantasy Tactics style battles on the go. But the one thing I will always remember it, and you're gonna have to think about this for a second, is that when you selected your job classes, they, you know, it was the GBA, so they didn't have a whole lot of screen space, so they abbreviated all of the jobs, like Thief was THF, Paladin was PLD. Can you guess what Fighter was?
can't.
FGT. Now try to sound it out in your head.
No, I won't, because I don't want to get demonetized.
We're already demonetized.
Oh, no.
I know. FGT. God
No.
damn you werewolves.
That reminds me. I've been meaning to tell you this. There was something I wanted to bring up the entire stream. Have you seen on Steam? Have you seen any information about this game? What is it called? What is it? I want to say it's Atlas Ascending?
Atlas Ascending. It sounds familiar, but you're gonna have to refresh me.
It is, okay, I will look this up on my phone.
Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, here we go. Real
All right,
fight.
you're right. You're right. They were more Pisca demons.
I'm gonna preemptively heal. Alright, that's one down. We're gonna be fine.
Well, if nothing else, the thief can take them out at this point.
Excellent. That'll do.
Side question, have you ever read Isaac Asimov's The Foundation?
I have not.
Why is that such a big thing right now? That's like everywhere, and I just noticed it because I'm on the waiting list to get it.
Oh, because Apple is turning it into a TV series.
God, they're like rating all these old properties now, aren't they?
Yeah. Thousand Gil. Alright. Well,
Hyperion, I think, is getting a series. The Foundation is getting a series. Dune got a movie.
well, Dune deserved it.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Like, part of it just kind of like, I don't know. I just don't like the idea of all these larger companies rating these older classics to make a quick buck. I mean, clearly, Dune isn't a quick buck.
Yeah,
but
no.
I don't know.
Dune is the world's slowest buck. They locked it in the chamber in 1963, prepped it in 2018, and pulled the trigger in 2021.
You know, they didn't even start filming the second half of that movie yet.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, God, I hope it succeeds.
I thought they had just did like all the Wheel of Time too. I thought they'd just done all the filming sequentially, but like Villeneuve was like, yeah, if this sells well enough, we might start making the second half of the movie.
Did you see the absolute non-trailer for Wheel of Time?
I did, and it looked like the most generic piece of shit I'd ever seen.
Yes, which is such a shame because the books are good. You know, it's
that is the most accurate assessment of the situation I have heard anybody say. The books are good.
The books are good, but like if you look at the trailer, you would be forgiven for thinking, oh, it's particle effects, the show.
Yeah, it's like
Get the fuck out of there.
So bland. Well, like 20 seconds into that trailer, they're already talking about you need to save the world, Rand.
I know, right?
And I'm like, whoa, hold on.
Like,
we got 10 books before that even comes up.
And you know, like, granted, I only read 3 books into the series, which I really have to finish sometime.
No, you read the quintessential 3.
The Dragon
Maybe
Reborn
read up
is
to
where
5.
I stopped, yeah.
Everything else is absolute garbage after
Okay,
that.
well, I enjoyed the Dragon Reborn. But in any case, like...
The Dragon Reborn was great. That was the highlighted series.
The most exciting part of like seeing one of your favorite franchises get put on the big screen is like identifying the characters, and like there's like certain giveaways to them that you can tell clearly who everyone is. I couldn't tell who anybody except for Rand was in the fucking... Did
you like how Lan was like shorter than everybody?
Right.
And like in the books he's this hulking giant.
Well, anyways, but no, like you're right. It was the trailer just looked like a bunch of generic nobodies doing a whole lot of nothing and saving the world.
More interesting,
somehow.
If you jump on over to the IMDb,
Uh-huh.
there are no voice or actor credits for The Forsaken. So
Really?
we may hypothetically be in a situation where season 1 doesn't even have a clear villain. It's just going to be wandering around and talking to people and like showing us how badass Moraine is.
The whole of season 1 is just the festival of what, like Beltane or something like that.
No, Beltane? No,
Beltane.
I guarantee you they'll be out of that village by the end of episode 1. They ain't got no tolerance for that shit. Like, no, this honestly, okay, spend just a moment on this. This reminds me of when Game of Thrones became popular. Like, at first, you know, it had all these fantasy elements about, like, all the Stark kids had a wolf, and then, like, winter can last for years. And other fantasy elements like that, that as it got more popular, just got stripped away from the series.
Along with everybody's clothes.
Well, yeah. But
that was in the books,
I feel like,
too.
I feel like that's what we're running into with, like, Wheel of Time, is they're just going to strip out, like, the blatantly fantasy element stuff, and it's just going to be, like, just generic action all the time.
Yeah. Well, I guess it remains to be seen. Who knows? Maybe it was just a really... Like, maybe they just didn't have enough completed to really make the trailer worth it.
I mean, like I said, like, how do you have no voice credit for, like, who was the main villain in the first book? Was it Shamael?
I don't remember. It's been 20 plus years.
Yeah, valid point. But no, it's just the interplay, you know, between Rand and the Forsaken trying to tempt him over to the totally not dark side. I mean,
right.
Like, where's your conflict then?
I was just thinking, whoa, don't want to do that. Wouldn't it be hilarious if I did actually try to get back into that series now, but just picked it up, like, as though I had just read The Dragon Reborn?
You could probably manage.
You'll pick it right back up.
I don't know. Like I said, you know, the first 3 books are fun to reread.
You know,
the second one was one of the strongest.
I did the exact same thing with Harry Potter. I read the first 4, and I never picked up the 5th one. And now I feel like it's, you know, been too long for me to actually do it. And I swear to God, I keep promising you this, I'm not going to do the same damn thing with The Witcher. I will finish a fantasy series, so help me God. Besides Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, we can talk about it sometime.
Yeah, we could.
I'll read some...
do
some cliff notes to remind myself of how it ended.
By the way, when are we going to do our Dune cast?
You know, I was like very skittishly wanting to bring that back up, because somehow, good God, it's almost been a year.
Film's about to come out, yeah.
Okay, no, that was because I was also painting at the time, and my life was miserable trying to paint the entire house. Yeah,
I thought you meant like you actually took up art, but no, you were literally painting
I wish. I just had to repaint the entire house and essentially fix a bunch of stuff.
That would require enriching myself.
It's wonderful now, but I'll tell you what, I currently have nothing to read. I'll pop Dune back in as a refresher, pull out my notes, and
That's
I'd
never
love
a bad
to do
idea.
that. Well, I haven't done my annual rereading yet, and the movie's coming out soon, so why not now?
Why not now?
Yeah,
God,
because
I hate this fucking castle.
Once we do our little thing over Dune, I'm gonna try to con you into reading The Black Company. So,
The Black Company.
The Black
We've talked about
Company.
this, but I can't remember what it is.
It's not great, but it is my.
It's not great. Don't get your hopes up.
No, well, okay. Here's the thing. It's not great. Like, Dune is my favorite book because it's excellent. Black Company is my favorite, like my second favorite, because it's so hammy. But I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like a Saturday morning cartoon with mercenaries.
Huh. Okay, you just sold me. That sounds fine.
No, it's because I don't want to gush about this, but no, Black Company is essentially about a group of mercenaries trying to make their way in a world with 10 almighty sorcerer kings, and their goal isn't to save the world; it's just to carve out and make a quick buck.
Yeah, why the hell not?
There's nothing heroic about it, and it was written in that sweet spot in the 1980s where all my favorite fiction was written.
The 80s were a good time.
They were, between Gene Wolfe's Shadow of the Torturer and Robert Morton.
I say this like I actually remember the 80s because I was a fucking
The Wheel
toddler,
of Time. Robert Morton.
Robert Jordan?
I'm getting him confused with... I'm getting him confused with Jordan...
Tim Horton.
I'm getting him confused with
Tim Horton is the
Robert
author.
Jordan, Tim Horton, Robert Downey Jr.,
His delicious,
and George R. R.
delicious
Martin.
books.
This
Anyway.
is like when I combined the two kids on Home Improvement into a single entity that didn't exist called Zachary Taylor Thomas.
There were 3 kids on Home Improvement.
Really?
Yeah, but you'd be forgiven for not remembering that either.
Did one of them die or something? Because I only remember
No, he was
two.
just horribly uninteresting and didn't have a career after that show.
Oh, like Tim Allen?
Ooh.
No, Tim Allen was very successful after that, I guess.
Well, actually, I think he became more successful for having a not great comedy show that conservative people really loved.
They kind of rallied around that
Yeah.
because it was conservative, because
Right.
it was tribal. And
Yeah, and then when they took it off the air, they were convinced that they did so because, you know, it was, I don't know, something traditional family values or yada, yada, yada.
that's what they said about Roseanne, right?
It turned out Roseanne straight up just didn't like black people. Oh, shit. Or was it
Yeah,
gay people? Or does it matter?
Well, it was all of the above.
It was people.
Well, everybody was okay with the gay slurs, but it was saying that Michelle Obama looked like a monkey that did it.
Oh!
But everybody
Yeah,
was
that'll-
okay when she dressed as Hitler and took little Jewish gingerbread men out of the oven dressed as Hitler.
That'll sink your career pretty quick, won't it?
Everybody was okay with that. I think she ended up moving to Israel, where I guess...
Why would she move to... Go on,
I don't know. That was the end of the story.
That was the end of this. She moved to Israel and lived happily ever after with
I guess.
a bunch of Jewish
where-
people that she doesn't like.
I guess that's where conservatives go when they're not welcome
Yeah, you
here
know,
anymore.
they really hate, like,
It's like the Bass
Judaism
Pro
as a
Shop.
religion, but they really love Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah.
Because he
that's
says all of the ignorant shit that they can only think about. Hey, do you remember that one time before the coup on the nation's capital when they straight up invited Netanyahu to like hold a political rally on like inside the national capital?
Yeah, Congress invited him under Obama.
Yeah, to like lead them when Obama wouldn't. I forget like what the circumstances were, but it was
just basically to tweak Obama's nose because he was
it was
hey,
surreal.
Stop killing those Palestinians, and they were like, no.
Holy
I mean,
shit.
I mean that's a little bit of a reductionist, summary of Israel.
No, I think you nailed just the right consistency that they were going for when they.
I mean, this is basically.
I think you just put more thought into it than they did.
Israel's a terrific nation. It's just they do some really horrifically egregious things to minorities. But hey, that reminds me of a joke.
Oh dear God, we are gonna get demonetized.
No. So I recently read about this. It's a political story. At one point, apparently, I think it was Bob Dole. Bob Dole had said that at one point Newt Gingrich came up to him and said, "Bob, why is it every time I talk to people here, they take an instant dislike to me?"
Because you're an
And
asshole.
Bob Dole thought about it for a moment, and he's like, "Saves him time."
Save some time. Oh, Bob Dole. Remember when politicians used to have wit?
Yeah, that's not required anymore, apparently.
No.
Yeah, it's always nice when you get a really good zinger,
Oh, dude, yeah, like Bob Dole and John McCain. I mean, I had ideological differences with them, but they would slam dunk on you if you gave them the opportunity. I think that more than anything was the reason Trump didn't like McCain. Like he can't be in a room where he's not the most reverenced person.
Well, yes, you are correct.
Well, and he's an asshole, but
Well, yeah. Now the question becomes, does he become president after Joe Biden in 2024?
Please, I don't even want to think about it.
I'm strangely at peace with all this now. Like, I watched the wildfires burning over in California. I'm like,
Like
Whatever.
all the signs of the apocalypse are here. Just bring on the fucking apocalypse.
Done. Just, this is God's will, whatever. I'm done.
it's someone's will. I don't know about God.
I'm done.
There's some malevolent higher power here.
The
pissing
world's
in our
richest
pool.
men just had a contest this year to like see how many billions of dollars they could blow going to space. So, fuck
Yeah, I
trickle
saw
down
that.
economics. They'll just go down. They'll
Did
just go to space.
Did you happen to listen to NPR today?
That's actually all I listened to because I found out I could get it at work.
Didn't you just love how their defense of it was, no, they're not all billionaires. Some of them are only millionaires. Some of them are only multi-millionaires.
I remember that strange defense.
As though like, oh, that means I could go to space. No.
Well,
No.
maybe your kids.
Maybe your children's 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 children, assuming that every single generation just lets your inheritance compound interest.
I remember I was reading an article about like this guy is like, I am going to be the man who finally defeats death and people will finally live forever. And I'm thinking, oh boy, yeah, you and me won't live forever.
Yeah, right.
I'll be like fuckers like Elon Musk and Trump.
Yeah, like
That's the one thing we had in life is
Nicki
you can,
Minaj and the Kardashians.
You can look at these people and be like, well, thank Christ they'll be worm food eventually, Like
now that's not even true anymore.
Yeah, right. Now we don't even have like, well, at least he'll fucking die.
Right? That's like the one solace the common man had, is that
that's all I
that
had.
at least death is the great equalizer between these rich assholes and me. Nope, not true. You become
Not
worm
anymore.
food, and they're the worms.
just becomes another way to like,
You know what's weird is that Max and I actually had a very similar conversation to this on an episode of Shenmue not too long ago, where it's just like, what are the ethics of that? How do we decide who gets to actually get plugged into the supercomputer and live forever? I'm like,
same way we always have.
Yeah, it's just the ones with all the money.
Who has the most shekels?
Right? All right. Oh man, I don't want this episode to be over. This has been fun.
Oh, these fluty dudes. This is like Peter
Dwarves.
Jackson.
Yeah, you also
clearly
don't.
composed
Oh wait, no,
this.
that's not true. You do see dwarves again in Final Fantasy. They just look a lot different.
Where?
Final Fantasy IV, the whole dwarf kingdom. Final Fantasy
that's
IX
true.
has dwarves.
That's true.
Basically, any
And
of
then
them that do go more for high fantasy.
Kind of 9 as well.
Yeah, 9. That's. what I said.
They said there were dwarves, but there was nothing like dwarves.
Yeah, they were more like garden gnomes.
I feel like someone opened up a book of mythological creatures and didn't quite understand
what they were looking at. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think they saw like gnomes and we got dwarves, or trolls and we got
Leprechaun, dragon, same damn thing.
You've already put more thought into it than they did.
Right. You know what game?
Shoot.
Go ahead.
Okay, no, hold on. That game I wanted to tell you about was... It was Arcadian Atlas on Steam. Like, this looked pixel for pixel like a follow-up to Final Fantasy Tactics.
Maybe I haven't heard of it then.
No, because it's pretty low-key and it hasn't released yet. Now, this is not to be confused with the game some of the original developers of Final Fantasy Tactics came out with, which I think was like Heroic Stories.
Oh, interesting.
Which was a massive piece of shit. That was a mobile game that ended up...
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Well,
It
you
was
go
like,
and finish your point, and then I'll finish my last point. You go ahead.
Yeah, like Heroic Stories, which was apparently absolutely horrible, and ended up getting pushed out the door just to get pushed out the door, because they were like, well, it's been on Kickstarter for 5 years. We should probably deliver something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
That's
look
not
that
a
up. I saw that and I thought of you.
So, actually, I thought of you, strangely enough, when I looked at a game today. I was, I still have my, 12 months of Apple Arcade for free. And so, occasionally when I'm bored at work, I'll just scroll through and see if there's anything to pass the time. And wouldn't you know it, but Castlevania Grimoire of Souls just came out today.
Okay, now, isn't that the Puzzle Quest game?
It was a... what do you mean I can't learn teleport? What?
Do you have to be a proper white mage?
Proper black mage, but Why
Whatever.
can I learn other level 5 spells but not teleport? Just to be assholes. Gotcha. Okay. Anyways, so Grimoire of Souls, as I understand it, was a failed mobile game, and it was a failed gacha game in Japan, but then Apple decided to scoop it up, take out all the gacha elements, and make it serviceable. But all it really is still is just Konami waving its dick in Igarashi's face with his intellectual property.
Huh. Yeah, I saw it come out, but like I said, I thought it was like they're like, no, I'm thinking of something else. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
Alright, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, interesting is one way to
Puzzle
put
of the
it.
Night?
I'll probably download it just to check it out because, hey, for me, it's free. But at the same time, it's so weird for them to try to do a new Igarashi Castlevania without Igarashi and with none of the exploration elements. So we'll see how this goes.
No, that seems perfectly logical. They probably just, they made a map and then they just went to the sprite closet and just started dropping sprites
Yeah, I was going to
into
say,
the level.
it's kind of par for the course for Konami these days, isn't it? But
Yeah.
yeah. Anywho, Nick, next episode of Play the Hits, we are going to kill a vampire and then the Lich.
Wait, vampire? When do we get to the Lich?
We gotta
Wait
kill
a
the
sec.
vampire first.
Wait a sec, isn't the vampire inside the Lich's tunnel?
Yes. So what we do is
Yeah, we gotta kill the vampire and
we
then
gotta
we
kill the
teleport out.
vampire. We get the gem from the vampire. We give the gem to the giant. He gets out of our way. And okay. And then we get what we need
shall
to
not
go
pass?
deeper into the Lich's hideout.
Okay, I remember the annoyingness of having to go all the way through that dungeon again.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to get to... I actually went to the wrong zone here. We need to go all the way down here, you're right, to the Lich's Cavern first. But anyways, yeah. That'll be next time right here on Play the Hits. I hope you can do it.
Yeah, you really sold me on this game. This is better than I remember.
Remember when we said we were done with fetch quests, though? We were wrong.